Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's Town Manager and COVID-19 update. I'm James Milan, and I am with Adam Chapdelaine. Adam, nice to see you, and let's get right into it. Just a little bit to talk about in terms of COVID vaccines as usual, but I think a little bit more positive spin than has been the case for a while. So let you add it.
Absolutely. I do feel today probably about as hopeful as I've felt in a long time, in general, and in talking to you in this weekly basis. So I want to talk about a few things. One, exciting news, I think, coming from the governor yesterday about when various groups will be eligible over the course of the next month or a little bit more, all leading up to April 19th being the date that we expect everybody in the state over the age of 16 to be eligible. Doesn't mean everybody will get.
Even you, Adam, right?
Even I'll become eligible. So that's exciting, right? It doesn't mean that everybody will be vaccinated by April 20th, but it means that folks who want to access will be able to access it. We might have to wait a little bit, but the light at the end of the tunnel that we've all been, you and I have been talking about quite regularly, is really close. Like now, it's definitely a light. It's definitely the end of the tunnel. So there's hope. On the other side of that, and I don't want to weigh it down, but I think to be appropriate is that we still have to be vigilant. The variant is out there. We've received confirmation that the variant is present in Middlesex County. Not every sample is tested for the variant, so its mere presence alone doesn't necessarily tell us a lot other than that it's here, and it's likely somewhat widespread. So we still have to be vigilant because we're so close to the end. And I would say I understand the challenges that we're probably all facing. I'm sure some people probably felt that challenge yesterday on St. Patrick's Day, other holidays coming up, that desire as we get towards what hopefully is the next normal to start to re-socialize, engage with family and friends. The pressure is high.
And I mean, people, there's a lot of pressure, as you said, in that way. People, I think this is a bit of a danger right now for a lot of us in terms of we all know people who have been vaccinated, people who've been fully vaccinated, our older relatives, our friends, our neighbors, etc. It's seeping out into the population, right? So you see that happening, you imagine, okay, we're basically there. And what I hear you saying, light at the end of the tunnel, I think we're all hearing a lot of that, light at the end of the tunnel, but we need to stay vigilant. Let me ask you, just to take a minute or two and share with the audience your own thoughts about, the challenge of that. You just said, it's hard. Talk a little bit about how it is either in your life or what you understand that we are all up against here, and maybe give us some guidance or help in terms of holding on to that vigilance to cross this finish line, which we can now see.
Absolutely. I'm sure, like many of us, people are getting invited, or maybe even thinking about inviting people over. And literally, just this morning, I was texting with family about what our Easter plans might be. And I've been sort of struggling with it all week about whether or not it was okay for us to go visit, for my kids to be able to see grandparents and cousins and so forth. But I talked it over with my wife, and ultimately we said, understanding it might not be a popular answer to the person inviting me, that we're so close. Easter's a couple weekends from now, but there's a chance that our family, or at least the adults in the family, might be vaccinated by the beginning of May. So, you run a race to the finish line. And if we're that close to the finish line, why take that risk now? And, the risk might be low for someone my age, or many people of various ages, but you don't know that for sure. And you don't know that you might not infect somebody else, even a vaccinated person, right? So in this case, my own mother, by that point will be vaccinated, but it's not, there's no 100% effective vaccination. So there's still reason to be vigilant. There's still reason to adhere to DPH protocols, to CDC protocols. try to be safe. And, and the hope is that maybe by July 4th, we'll be able to all get together outside and have a time together with friends and loved ones. But to get there, we got to stay the course. So that, I guess I hope that can help some people as they're probably dealing with some of the same challenges that I'm dealing with in my personal life.
Well, I hear you speaking, tentatively about the possibility of July 4th, but one of the things that's really been heartening is to hear the informed voices, informed because they are doctors, because they are scientists, because they are people who know what they're talking about. Those kinds of voices saying, yeah, that's a reasonable thing. That is a a timeline that we can live with in terms of there being an implicit promise that things are going to feel a lot better by then. Yeah. And July 4th is a great date because it is so symbolic of summer and et cetera. I think it's also a good date because it's still far enough away where we can, again, assume that not everything will go smoothly, and yet we can still imagine that that vaccination will be widespread enough, and all the other things that we need will be in place for that. So I love that. Again, you don't want to make any promises, but that sense just seems to me to be growing for all of us. That is a time that we can really point towards and feel confident at this point. Let's hope. On that notion, let me ask you before we go. You said that you were feeling positive and hopeful, and cited the governor's announcement about vaccination rollouts and just what dates we're going to draw and which people, et cetera. You have expressed frustration, understandably, over recent times with the rollout here in Massachusetts, and we all know that a lack of vaccines has been an issue. Do you feel confident, more confident now that the vaccines themselves will be available in order for that timeline that the governor laid out to be, likely to happen?
I do, and I guess I'd share a few things. So, one, I had the opportunity to be on a call with the Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of Health and Human Services, Mary Lou Sutters, on Tuesday morning, excuse me, and they were sharing what they'd already seen in terms of doses coming into the state increasing, both what CVS and Walgreens were receiving through the federal pharmacy program, as well as what the state was receiving. I think it was actually later that day, or maybe on Wednesday, that the governor reported that he'd had the call with the Biden administration and other governors reporting an expected even larger increase in doses coming. So it does feel as though, the information is being relayed to us locally, second and sometimes third hand, but it does seem as though doses that have been promised are now actually starting to come in. More specifically to Arlington, I think I may have mentioned in a previous week that we had applied to be part of a broader regional collaborative with the Cambridge Health Alliance, Tufts University, and 8 other communities to be able to have vaccinations closer to Arlington. And that collaborative was approved on Monday. So, it's a little good news and bad news in that the collaborative was approved with no promises of vaccine yet, but I don't think they would have approved us if they didn't know the vaccine was yet to come. So it does look like in the coming weeks, we'll be able to offer vaccinations closer to home so that people don't have to go to Fenway or Gillette or Natick or whatever may have been the most convenient for them. So I think that, I think we do have evidence that the doses seem to be increasing, and, back to that theme of hope, I hope it holds true, right? Because to meet those timelines we've talked about, the doses the state's receiving definitely need to go up. Well,
back to that theme of hope. I think we'll just leave it there, right? Why not? If there's nothing else on your end, we will leave it there.
That sounds great.
All right, great. And my understanding, Adam, is that we will talk to Christine Bongiorno next week. So we will see you next in April.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Best enjoy the rest of the month, and we look forward to talking to you and getting back to that theme of hope at that time again.
Same
All
here.
right, take care. I've been speaking to, of course, our town manager, Adam Chapdelaine, for this COVID-19 and town manager update. I'm James Milan. Appreciate your being here. Stay hopeful. We're getting there.